Welcome into today's speed reviews video. We have an even 40 items that I tested for the month of February that I want to sit down and talk about with you guys. I do these at the very end, like the beginning of the following month, each month, so that I can talk about all the stuff that I tested in the prior month. And this was a roundup of 40 things. There's a ton of new releases here. So I'm pretty excited. I do show you guys cutaways of me applying pretty much my favorite stuff. So let's waste no more time. Let's hop right into it. Please do not mind my hair today. I literally just came up here and was like, okay, I need to get it out of my face to start filming. Let's start off with how I applied everything to my face. So the first thing actually isn't a new release. It's the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer. I really like it. I didn't really care for the original version in the pot. I thought that maybe it was a little bit too drying. Maybe it was a little bit harder in the pot. And I honestly, back then when I tried it for the first time, I had dry skin. Not that it claimed to be better for oily skin, but I think products like this just typically are. I like it just fine now. I like it better in the liquid version. I think that it works really well. It blurs like a little bit, you know, it doesn't blur everything, but I think that it does a pretty good job. And I think it even helps just a slight bit to control my oil. So I'm a fan of this product. I don't think it's one of my holy grail poreless primers or blurring primers, but it's pretty darn good. So I think it's a purchase. I think if you struggle with stuff like that, it would be worth checking out. But the next one is a pass. This one is a dupe to the original e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. This is the LA Girl Blurring Putty Primer in the pot. This is just not good. It's a softer formula than I was anticipating, so my finger just like goes straight into the product. It's actually too greasy on me. When I put it on, it just doesn't sink into the skin very well. It's too kind of moisturizing and slippy. And yeah, I don't think that's what it's supposed to do to be a poreless primer. It also doesn't fill in any of my pores whatsoever. So not a fan of this. This is a pass for me. And then I went straight into doing my eyes. So that's how I want to go over like the products next. So these aren't new releases, but these are the RMS Beauty Eye Lights. I really like these. I have the shades Strobe and Halo. Strobe is the more taupey shade and Halo is the more pink shade. Halo is the shade that I'm putting on. I quite like these. I enjoy these very much. And when I first started playing with these, I had a tendency to go in with too much product and they looked really thick on my lids. But then I realized, like, if you take just a really small amount and apply it to your eyes, it really travels. And then that's when it looks a lot smoother on the eyes. I think these are beautiful. They're super easy to work with. Like, they stay emollient long enough to apply it with your finger. And then then it dries and locks down and stays all day. So I think these were formulated in a beautiful way. Just how I'd want products like this to work, I think they do. So these are totally worth your coin, I think. And I'm really into like a simple look when I'm getting ready for every day. I just find these extremely easy. But yeah, my tip is like just put a tiny bit and then like pick up just the slightest amount and you'll see like how far these travel. But these are great. That's a purchase from me. The next one is from MAC. It's just a single. So this is not a new release. It's the Frost eyeshadow in Amber Lights. I ended up getting this free with purchase in December when I purchased the mini lipstick collection that they had. Anyway, I think this is beautiful. I have a Dazzle shadow that I also really like, but for whatever reason, this one is just way more icy, way more light reflecting. It's just really pretty. I love this shade too. Was wearing this all by itself and it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, not much else to talk about with this. If you're somebody who's into testing a bunch of single shadow formulas, I think you would kind of enjoy the feedback, but otherwise it's not on its own a really exciting product. I just happen to be a pretty big fan of single shadow products. So I liked that formula, and more than the Dazzle Shadow Extreme that I like second best from MAC. The next two are new releases, both from the drugstore. This was the Jelly Shadow from Ulta Beauty. They had a collection that launched. I want to say it was like something Vacation Vibes or something. So I picked up quite a bit of stuff from that collection and the whole thing is a letdown. This is gross. This is clearly a dupe to the ColourPop Jelly Mutt shadows, but this doesn't even pick up on your fingers. You're just moving this solid product around, and whatever you're picking up on your fingers is basically just like the sheer wash of glitter. It's gross. It doesn't apply easily. It's absolutely landfill to me. I think this is genuinely kid makeup, and maybe it was honestly made for kids. I don't know, and I'm just the dummy over here that thought it kind of looked good and picked it up. And I'm a full clown because this is just clown makeup. This is kid makeup. This is absolute trash. The other thing that I think is garbage is from Essence, is also another dupe. It's the Multichrome Flakes eyeshadow topper that's duping the Danessa Myricks Chrome Flakes. This doesn't emulate her formula at all. They missed it completely. It was like they weren't even trying. Hers actually has some stickiness and tack to it. This is like a full-on gel. It's like dispersed glitter inside of a liquid gel. It is so gross. It doesn't apply to the eyes. I've tried to use it as a topper on top of a couple of different shadows. It just lifts the shadow, whatever it is. Doesn't matter if it's like a cream or a powder, it just lifts it from the eyelid. These are also absolute trash, just garbage. I'm full of positivity today. I'm just like not mincing my words at all, you guys. There was some dog doo-doo in here and I'm just calling it like I see it. The next one, it was dog doo-doo, was from Soul Body. This was from the Twilight collection that ColourPop put out. It's the Shimmering Dry Oil. I specifically didn't shake this so that you guys could see all the glitter is just sitting at the bottom. I put this on a couple of times. It's gross. It's too oily. I don't know why it's supposed to be dry. I'll shake it now, but oof, it's just greasy on the skin. You know, some oils, they're really actually quite nourishing and they sink into your skin well, so it doesn't leave it greasy, just leaves it soft. This is greasy. They didn't put any money into this. It's kind of my takeaway from it. So that's a pass. Pretty much everything from the Twilight collection was garbage. So you guys will get to that too. The next one on like the total end of the spectrum was a new release from Louis Vuitton. This was the liquid foundation. I have mine in the shade 15C. I really enjoy this. Quite like it. 77 bucks, it's pretty expensive, but I love me drugstore. I love me high-end and I love me luxury. I'll just go all over the place. When it comes to makeup, I basically don't discriminate necessarily when it comes to price point. I think it is a satin, kind of luminous matte foundation. Really pretty. It's kind of a whipped texture, but it's not heavy on the skin. I feel like it gives you immediate medium coverage, but it's a pretty long lasting formula. I would also say, I don't feel like it's drying on my skin. It's perfect. It's like a perfectly perfect, my kind of type of foundation. If you're looking for something long lasting and you have like normal to oily skin, I think this is great. I don't know how it would perform on someone with dry skin. I don't think it's an overly drying formula, but I can't really speak to that because I think it's a little bit of a semi-matte or satin matte or luminous matte, whatever. Right in that little realm of kind of sort of matte-ish. That's what that foundation is, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Also, on the other end of the spectrum is the Revolution Skin Silk. I always want to say Silk Skin. I think this is duping the Armani Luminous Silk Foundation, which I have not used in such a long time. This is supposed to be a luminous serum foundation. I have mine in the shade L4, which I think is a really good match. Gorgeous product. Little bit of radiance, little bit of luminosity, totally a serum formula, very lightweight on the skin, quite long lasting too. I just really like this. I think they did a really good job with this particular dupe. Thoroughly enjoy it. Huge purchase. Those two are actually now some of my favorite foundations. They're not just ones that I kind of like and they'll go into my collection. I like those. I like those. I'm happy about both of those. One that I don't think I'm as happy about is the NYX Pro Stick. I have this one in the shade, I think it's Alabaster, yes, Correcting Concealer. Last month I talked about the pink one, which I think is more color correcting shade, not necessarily a correcting concealer. And I think that one's good. I think it's also formulated a little bit differently. These are a little bit drier, or at least this one is in this particular shade. I like the pink one to go into the inner corners of the eyes, and I think it blends out perfectly, but I also think it's not heavy, so even if you lay concealer on top of it, because you put it under the eyes, I think it still works really well. This one's really heavy on my under eyes if it's by itself and if I layer concealer. I mean, honestly, just if it's by itself. In the cutaway, you guys, I'm doing like one dot under the under eyes. I would suggest not doing more than that. I do like these though for the inner corner. I honestly think they're great for like the inner corner. I feel like I miss all the time. So I actually think these are really good for the inner corner. That's pretty much it. I like the color corrector in the pink shade, and I like this for the inner corner. I don't like it under the eyes. So it's a purchase if you want inner corner concealer, but I don't recommend using it as a full-on concealer. Then I moved into mascaras, just how I like to apply it when I'm doing these cutaways so I'm not like bare lash for the rest of the video. Anyway, couple of new releases. No, one new release. This one is not a new release. This is the I Love Extreme Crazy Volume Waterproof Mascara from Essence. I saw someone else on YouTube talk about this as a good volumizing mascara, and it has the style wand that I really enjoy. So I picked it up, and it took me a while to kind of really like it, I think. I was, I don't know, I was kind of on the fence back and forth, like, is it giving me the volume that I'm really looking for? And then I was comparing it against some of my other favorite volumizing mascaras. Overall, I think the conclusion that I've come to is that I do really enjoy this. Still not a top favorite volumizing mascara, but it's pretty good for an affordable mascara. I think Essence did a really good job. I like that it's waterproof too. You need to have, I think, a couple waterproof mascaras, or at least one in your collection, or at least I do, especially having kids in Florida. I feel like there's always a time that I need waterproof. I think it's good volumizing. I think it has decent pigmentation. I want to say it's kind of like the middle of the road mascara for me. When I put it on, I don't get like emotions, you know? Sometimes you just go, oh, I love that concealer. I don't think I get emotions about this, but I like the effect it gives when I put it on. It's a tacky formula, decent pigmentation. I like it. It's not my favorite, but I like it. I feel the same way about this new release, which is the Lash Without Limits, which is supposed to be extreme length and volumizing mascara from Essence. It has a very similar wand to the Maybelline Sky High, and I think it gives decent length. This really doesn't give you much volume. It's nicely lengthening, but it's not intensely pigmented. And so for me, for somebody who's got like lighter colored lashes anyway, you know, sometimes the length is just emphasized by the fact that it's a more pigmented mascara, which I don't think this is. I think it's really good for those of you who like to add length, maybe already have darker lashes, don't like intense mascaras, then I think it's good. I do enjoy this. I'm definitely gonna hold on to it, but again, it's not my favorite. One that I'm gonna declutter is from Laura Geller. This I just picked up at the Ipsy drop shop. And sometimes I try and just grab things like randomly from Ipsy or other brands just to kind of test it and see if I can find me a new holy grail. Basically, it's kind of how I end up getting them. But this is your quintessential goopy thick ass wand. Really thick, really goopy, hot mess. I think it's actually okay when it gets to the eyelashes, but it's not as pigmented as you think it would be. Looking at this wand, it's a lot less intense than the other two mascaras, like in terms of pigmentation. I don't know. It's just not a good mascara. It's not a fit for me, so I think that's a pass. Let's move on into eyeliners that I ended up swatching next. So I picked up 3 of the new releases from ColourPop. These were the Multichrome. Yes, Multichrome. And I picked up 3 shades. I actually really like these. The only other Multichrome liners that I've tried were the Moira Beauty ones. And I think in comparing those, the ColourPop ones do not last as long as the Moira ones. If I leave the Moira ones swatched on the back of my hand for like 5 minutes, I have to scrub so hard to get them off. Sometimes the scrubbing doesn't even do it. Like I have to brush them off with something really heavy and dense. I think these ColourPop ones, they do lock down. They have good longevity, but they're not as intense as the Moira ones. I want to say though, I kind of like these maybe a little bit better than the Moira ones, which I was a pretty big fan of, because these have more opacity than the Moira. Those tend to be a little bit more sheer overall. I don't think either of them have intense flips, but I would say that the ColourPop ones have more flip if you're actually looking for it to show in a multi-chrome way. I do want to mention that they're mostly like shimmery. The one that has like the most intense flip is like the purple one. And I don't know if it's a flip as so much as like it's multicolored sparkles in it. Anyway, if you're looking for a multi-chrome liner, I recommend both Moira and ColourPop. They have their differences, but the ColourPop ones are honestly just as good. Like I said, I kind of like the ColourPop ones a little bit more, and I think they're really fun to play with overall. So those are a purchase, if you will. The next ones from ColourPop are trash. They're just trash. I'm just shocked that ColourPop can stun me with a formula like those liners that perform really well and then come out with garbage like this, honestly. These are the ColourPop Graphics Inks liners that came out from the Twilight collection. These are watery and sheer and absolute nonsense. I don't get how they like passed inspection, just how watery they are. They basically could have all been the same shade. They go on watery. They're trash. They're just not good. Stuff like that I don't even feel good passing along to somebody. I just think it's so bad quality and performance that I would just throw those away. Like that's how I feel about those. Anyway, let's move on. The next one is also trash. This is from that same collection from Ulta, and this is the Color Punch Punch Longwear Liquid Eyeliner, and this one is in the shade Turquoise. This is gross. Like, it's massively goopy on the tip. It gets everywhere. Kind of like just drips down the wand, and so much of it pools on the tip that it makes a mess when it goes on. And I don't think it's overly opaque either. I think it has a little bit of sheerness to it, so you kind of gotta layer it up. This is just not worth a dime in my personal opinion. Colored liners for me are fun, but I feel like they have to really perform pretty well because they can be a little bit more difficult to work with because they're colorful liners. That's garbage. That's an absolute pass, trash, no from me. And then another one from Ulta is the Tropical Twist Cream Eyeshadow. I think Ulta has other cream eyeshadows in their collection. I've never tried those, but I'm just like, why throw this garbage in there into this collection? This is like sheer color, you know, and that's okay. If they were going for something a little bit more sheer and sparkly, that's fine. This stinks. This smells expired. Smells like a full-on crayon already. It's just really patchy when it goes on. It doesn't spread out evenly. You can't like blend this in with your finger if you wanted to. Nonsense, just nonsense. The one thing that Ulta did in that entire haul that I felt like was fabulous, I'm glad that I found it, was the Whoopsie Eyeliner Corrector. I have been using this when like making mistakes. It actually does its job. I've like gotten it up here, I've done it too low, and I've taken the liner and just like cleaned it up. It's actually really good. It's really good. I'm glad that I found it because I think it serves a purpose for me, and I think it was crafted with decent quality. And I think that if you are looking for something like that, then it's really nice, because how hard is it to clean up liner? Like, you're just screwed. You're just gonna keep adding to whatever side to try and even it out. And I feel like that does a good job to eliminate having to do that. I also really liked this. This is the Cream and Chrome Eyeliner Duo from Flower Beauty. So it has a chrome side. I mean, they're both cream, but it has a chrome side, which is bronze, and then a color that's black. I really like this. It's meant for smudging out, I'm pretty sure, because this is not a long-lasting formula. It doesn't lock down on me. I could easily just like go like this and the liner's just smudged. So anyway, I use this to smudge out and I really do like it. I think I prefer the bronzy side more. I just think it's just fun and kind of unique, but it's nice to have both. Enjoy that. This actually might have been my favorite thing from the haul that I did from Ulta. It's the Super Fine Liner Pen from Essence. I don't know why I was like stumbling on that in deep black. The most precise tip I have ever used. It works beautifully. You can really get into the inner corners of this. Like if you wanted to do like a little wing down here, so super simple, easy. It's opaque. It carries all the way through from one end of the eye to the other. And I didn't realize how much I loved this thing in my life. Having hooded eyes and not having a ton of lid space then before I tried this. Anyway, this is absolutely fantastic. It's a good liner overall, but the purpose of it is to be super fine. It is the most fine, precise tip. So this serves a purpose for me. I think this is a purchase. Definitely, if you guys have hooded eyes and have ever thought like those tips are really maybe difficult, like to get onto your lid without looking too big and kind of swallowing your lid whole, something like that would be worth checking out. I have one bronzer and one blush. I swear this has like never happened before. I've done speed reviews and I've never had so few of this category, but I do. I have a ton of lip products. That's where it all basically came from. So I'll just talk about these together. It's the liquid blush and bronzer from Winky Lux. These are called the Cheeky Rose, and the bronzer one is called the Liquid Sculpt. So I guess it's more like supposed to be a sculpting, but it's kind of in the bronzer shade. And the blush is in the shade Noble, and the sculpting one is in the shade Amalfi. These are gorgeous. They're really simple to blend out. I really enjoy the Amalfi shade. I think it's a cross between kind of a contour and a bronzer. It has warmth to it. I've been using it as a bronzer. I think it's absolutely stunning. It's a beautiful formula too. Super easy to work with. You dot like 1 or 2 dots just depending upon the intensity level that you're looking for. I can blend it out really easily without lifting any of my foundation. Plus the packaging is just super duper cute on these. Like Winky Lux usually just does a good job. It's a frosted plastic bottom. Still though, I thoroughly enjoy these, and not just like as a token in my collection. I really like these. I really, really like them. I'm just starting to realize like I like it when it's simple and when it works and when I spend my money on it and not just talking to you guys about, yes, it's fine. Like, I want to be wowed. And that's how I feel about these. I'm actually wowed. So glad those were my only ones. Then we had really three highlighters, but two different highlighters. The first one is a new release from Iconic London. This is called the Lit and Luminous Baked Highlighter, and it only came out in one shade. It came out in Universal, which I didn't realize after I picked it up. It's kind of a champagne-y, slightly pink color, and from Iconic London, I was shocked that this ended up being kind of a more buildable, more subtle performing highlighter. Like, all the stuff that I have from Iconic London is pretty glowy and intense, and then I first put this on and I was like, what? Is this Iconic London? Oh, okay, it is. I actually do think you can get intensity out of it. Like, as you can see on my cheeks, it's pretty nice, like intensity. I think you just kind of have to build it up. Like, you really got to go in there with the brush, like, you know, with purpose and intention. But I think the formula is really nice. It doesn't feel baked. It kind of feels like powder. It's not as soft as a baked formula, but it is a baked highlighter. But I think that it settles on the skin. You know, it doesn't sit on top of it. I think it looks really nice and doesn't emphasize texture because it's an overly powdery formula when it gets to your skin. I think it's beautiful. I just want to mention, I feel like it's a little bit more subtle than what I was expecting from Iconic London, but I do think you can build it up, as you can see. So I actually think that's a purchase. I think that's just one of those products, again, that I find, like, grab it out of your drawer. You don't have to think twice about a product like that because it's kind of like just does its job without going like, oh my gosh, look what it did. It's amazing. It's beautiful. No, it's just pretty awesome because it's simple. And that's what I liked about that one. Anyway, that's a lot of words, but let's move on to some that I'm not impressed with. Completely underwhelming for me was the Twilight. Oh my gosh, why am I Super Shock highlighters? I was totally spacing. These were with the collection, and I just don't think that they're like good shades. I don't know. This one that's more pinky flip is in Meadow, and it's mostly sparkles, which, you know, maybe they were kind of going for that, and I get it. Like, if that's what they were trying to go for, fine. The one that is a little bit more icy and a blue shift is in Vampire Skin. I enjoy this one more because it just has more intensity to it overall. Like, you actually pick something up from it, but it's kind of underwhelming. ColourPop can do more than this. Like, some of their highlighters are amazing. Look, this is literally just wiping off with a dry rag. I was not impressed with this collection. These are not an it for me. These will not stay. I didn't enjoy them. All right, we are moving on into the final category, which is lips. I told you guys there is a ton of lip products, and only, let me count how many are not new releases. 3. Only 3 of them are not new releases. So the ones that I have multiples of, I counted as 1. The Summer Fridays launch, I ended up picking up 3 different shades. This is an underwhelming product for me. I was so impressed, as was most people, with their lip butter balm last year, that when they announced that they were going to release these, I thought, we're all in for a treat. We're all in for a treat. These are going to be amazing. These are a little thick for a lip oil. These are called the Dream Lip Oils, and I have 3 shades. Soft Mauve is the one I'm holding up. The darker one is in Rosewood Nights, and then Blush Dreams is a little bit lighter than the mauve shade, but it wouldn't matter anyway that I even told you what those shades are, because even though they swatch with pigmentation, when they get to the lips, they almost look identical. You can't even tell that they're different shades. There was 4 that came out, and I picked up 3 thinking the lighter pink one I probably wouldn't enjoy. It doesn't even matter. Literally probably can't tell. If I literally covered these and then put these on, I couldn't tell you which one I put on. But the formulation in and of itself too is kind of underwhelming. It's a little bit of a goopier, stickier formula than I would expect from Summer Fridays, who came out with a balm that was amazing. I don't know, it just, these aren't nourishing. That's the first thing. They don't fill in my lip lines like some oils do. They're a little bit goopy, and the shade literally doesn't matter. You could get anyone and they look the same on the lips. So underwhelming. I picked up 3 shades because I want to say these were like $26 a piece, and so, I mean, you do the math. I don't know. When I put things in a perspective like that for myself, it's just like, hopefully I'm helping you guys if you haven't already picked those up, but if you have, they're fine. They're just not impressive, I guess. I was impressed by these though, and I wasn't expecting to. It makes my head spin that I don't like the Summer Fridays, but Too Faced can impress me. These are the Kissing Jelly glosses, the Juicy Lip Oil / Gloss Hybrid. I even said that like when I first picked these up, like, oh, okay, they're like, they put a slash there right for us. I just was a fan that they like indicated that they were like a hybrid product. I don't know how many shades these came out in, but the blue one is in Sweet Cotton Candy, and then the other one is in Grape Soda, like the pink sparkly one. These are like the perfect balance. I think their description is great. I don't think the blue one has a ton of pigmentation. I feel like it just kind of cools your lips down. If your lips are a little bit warm, it just cools the color down. The pink one's really pretty though. These though, they fill in the lip lines. They feel nourishing. They feel like your real true hybrid between a gloss and an oil. So they're really fun, I think, anyway, but I love the way that they feel on. Then I got 2 shades in the new releases from Flower Beauty. These are the Gloss Crushes, the lip serums. I feel like these were trying to dupe the hybrids from Milk that came out last year. I got 2 shades. Lighter shade is Pink Crush, and then Fuchsia Crush is the darker one. I think these are a little bit on the goopy side, but I still like them. I think that they last a little bit of an extra amount of time because they're kind of a stickier formula. These aren't an oil, they're meant to be a gloss. I just think like with lip serum, maybe in my mind I was thinking they were going to kind of be like a lighter formula. I just think they're a little bit thick, but they're good, they're fine. I enjoy them. I will get use out of them. I don't think they're my favorite, but no, I don't feel like I wasted my money essentially. I am on the fence about this one. I really enjoyed it when I first got it. It's the Essence Hydra Kiss Lip Oil. This one is in the shade Pink Champagne. I really liked it. I think they did a good job. I feel like they were duping the Clarins lip oil here, but it immediately started to smell like off. I don't even know what the scent is. Like it's just not, it's off-putting. It kind of smells a little bit like alcohol, I guess is interesting because it has a 24-month shelf life. But I do think that aside from the scent kind of smelling, it's still a really good product. Like it feels like a lip oil, I guess, you know, not overly goopy, has a little bit of pigmentation, nice little shine on it. Doesn't last an immense amount of time, but I mean, it's pretty good. It's just that scent though, like, is it turning or did it, because I just don't remember it smelling like that when I got it. I think it's a decent dupe, but if they all turn bad like this, I'm not going to recommend it to anybody. So I don't know, it's kind of a pass. That's why I'm on the fence about it. Then this is also a new release from Revlon. It's the Color Stay Limitless Matte. I really enjoy this. This is really good. It's so lightweight. It feels like air going on. It doesn't feel like anything on your skin. It's super high shine. It dries down matte, but after the gloss fades. And I kind of like that. I don't know. There's just something about when it's a lighter formula that like fills in your lip lines, has that gloss, and then it like sinks into your skin is kind of how I feel. I think it's a beautiful product. I really enjoy it. This is Lead the Way. I really like this shade too. It's kind of fun. It's like a deeper, cool toned mauve shade. Really enjoy this product. I'm not a huge fan of like overly matte lip products. I would rather just leave them on their own as opposed to top them with a gloss. That one you can do that with just it and not have to like pair it with something else. So like, I guess that is attractive quality in that product for me. The next 2 are from Ulta and they are freaking garbage. They're literally ready for the landfill. Like they're ready. I could just hold their hand and walk them over. These are so bad. These are from that same like Vacation Vibes collection from Ulta. This first one is the PH lipstick in Batch Code. This is genuinely children's makeup. This is the cheapest garbage I have ever tried ever. The bullet inside the product like moves around. I think it's even like detached inside here. I don't know. It's a pH balm basically. They call it a pH lipstick, but it's like a balm. Yeah, it gives a little bit of a pink shade to it, but it's absolute trash. It's trash. It's absolute garbage. And this is even worse. This is the Paradise Pout Plumping Lip Gloss. I have never seen a stickier lip gloss in my life, and it's milky inside the tube. It reminds me genuinely of freaking Elmer's glue in a slightly tinted pink shade. That's literally what this is. It's Elmer's freaking glue. It's goopy, gobbly garbage. Goopily, gobbly garbage, guys. The one that I'm wearing right now, I love this. I love this. I want more shades in this, to be completely honest, but I don't need them. I just want them. This is the Revolution Pout Tint in the shade Mad About Mauve. This is like super lightly tinted. It's like a soft tint. It's like a mild tint, if you will. It goes on super thin. It's super glossy. And then when it fades, it tints slightly. It's just, I thought this was going to be like an intense tint, maybe a little bit drying even. Not at all. That's not what this is. As you can see, it's nice and shiny. When it fades, it, like I told you, it's just a really soft tint. This Mad About Mauve though is not, I don't think it's mauve. I think it's more kind of a fuchsia color. So I don't think the shade name is perfect, but I love this product. And then the next one that I have is also a new release from Winky Lux. It's their lip oil. I think, yeah, flower petal lip oil. And it's only flower petal because it has little flower petals in it. And they had a couple of other ones, and I don't know what they had in them, but I feel like it was like different than flower petal. And I was so worried. Have you guys ever purchased like lip products like this where they had little flowers in there and they tasted like roses? I don't like that. But this tastes like straight vanilla. This is your quintessential, super soft, super slippy, nourishing lip oil. This is gorgeous. I'm using this all the time. Like I'm constantly putting this on because the vanilla is pleasant, but then it's a soft lip oil. Let me see if I can show you. Like I just want to do like a swatch in my hand, like live. It's like, oh, I love it. I love it. That's a purchase for me. The Winky Lux stuff was amazing. Essence did do a good job on this next one. It's the Juicy Bomb Shiny Lip Gloss. I think this was supposed to be duping the Lancome Juicy tubes, Juicy tubes that come in this kind of packaging. It's a nice formula. It is not an overly sticky lip gloss, but I think it has a little bit of stick that makes it last longer than 5 minutes. It does have a nice little shine to it, easy to put on. It is in the shade Bouncy Bubblegum. I like this. Throw it in your pocket. It's worth it for what it is. I don't think it's supposed to be flashy. I think it's supposed to be a cute little shiny lip gloss, and I like that. I like it. I like it. I think they did a good job. Let's move on to some that I don't think they did a good job. ColourPop. I just want to keep this whole collection. I need to do an updated video of just like shit I regret buying. Like whole collections I thought were going to nail it out of the park, and I just ended up like, where did they go? Oh, it's because I hated them. The Luxe Gloss. See? I think they're fine. I've had one other Luxe lip oil before. These look so cool. I mean, look at that blue. It barely translates. It's basically clear when it gets to your lips, which is super disappointing. Same thing with this black one. All these like tiny little sparkles in there, they just don't translate when it gets to the lips, which is like, it's a shame because that would have been really pretty, but it's something that they could have tested, you know? Or if they did and they were like, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's a fine lip oil. You can't even tell them apart, basically. And I feel like these turn pretty quickly too. So they're kind of a waste. These already don't smell great, in my personal opinion. The only one that I think I'll hold on to is this one right here. Yeah, these are just super disappointing. And this one doesn't even have like sparkles like the other one. So these two look identical when you get them on, and they're just okay in terms of formulation. So I don't know, this is such a shame. The whole collection was not good for me. I didn't even like the eyeshadow palette. Another huge disappointment was the lip gloss from Gucci. I have mine in the shade, if I can even find it. I cannot even read this. I can't even read it, you guys. I'll put it in the description box because you can't even read what it says on there. The packaging is super cheap. This is a $40 lip gloss. This is fully plastic that just kind of reminds me a little bit of kid makeup, but it's so similar to the one from Ulta. It's the stickiest, one of the stickiest lip glosses that I've ever tried. And the tiny little doe foot applicator, $40, it's massively underwhelming. This is something aside from the lid that I feel like you would find at the drugstore. It's just that kind of absolute no for me. Like, look how sticky this is. Oh, it's sticky on the lips. It's gross. It's gross sticky. I'm not a fan. So I think that's an absolute pass, especially for 40 bucks. Hell no. And then I got this one for my husband for Christmas. It's the L'Oreal Infallible. I don't even know what it is. 560 Payday. It's from the Infallible line, but I don't know what it is called. But again, I will pop it in the description box. This is a really nice matte formula that's a little bit whipped when it goes on, so it's a thicker consistency. It's okay. The only thing is it separates on your lips when it dries down when you've had it for a while, so it's not a hassle-free product, and that I don't like about it. Yeah, it does that weird little separatey lippy thing, but it's intense. Like the pigmentation on this is in freaking tense. One swipe. So if you don't mind that it breaks apart and you're willing to go in and do a little bit of extra work on this, I think it's fine, but I don't know. I'm just not into stuff like that lately. So I have satin lipsticks that are so similar in color that don't break apart strangely on me, that have like this intense opacity. So I would rather reach for those personally. And then I got some stuff from the Crème shop when I was at the drugstore. This is just one of their glosses in Auburn era. This is cute. It's cute and it's actually really nice. It's one of those flat little doe foot applicators and I really do enjoy that. It smells delicious, like little tropical fruit. It's a nice little tint. I don't know if I love this color, but I think that Crème shop usually does some pretty good stuff that I'm a pretty big fan of. So I think it's a nice pop in your bag gloss. I don't hate it. The thing that I don't like from them, I think is fine, but I think it's a shade thing, so ignore me. This is the Crème shop lip crayon in Birthday Babe. I wanted something a little bit nude. It's a nice crayon, but it's a little bit drying, I guess. It doesn't like fill in my lip lines or anything. It's kind of a waste of money. I'll probably pass this on to my daughter. I know we didn't like go out with a bang on that last one. That last one was just kind of like, meh. But I was excited when I bought it. I thought, oh, this color looks so pretty. And then I get it to the car and I'm like, did I just spend $8 on that? That's kind of how I felt about it. Anyway, that is the end of everything. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I always love to hear your comments. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up. If you're not currently subscribed, I'd love to see you subscribe. I am out of here, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye, guys.